All right, guys, it's me, man, here, Double H, half of that hope, man. It's going to be a long one. So get out your meal, press pause, get out your favorite meal, warm it, get your drink, press pause, be settled down because we're going to have to break this down because it's time for us just to tell us a few home truths. So, Chelsea against Newcastle. Perceptions. That's the theme of this post-match analysis. We're going to talk about perceptions, how perceptions can be misleading, and how you need to have variation. Variation is the key to life. Equilibrium is the key to life. Too much of a good thing is bad. Too much of a good thing is bad. I need to give a shout out to Mike Ashley for not spending enough money and not giving Rafa Benitez anything to really work with. Because I think, when you look at Benitez, he's doing the best he can with the players that he has. And when you look at this game, they suffered a lot because we're going up against a team who can keep the ball extremely well as Chelsea did, and they were not able to react to it when they had the ball. There was no counter-attack because with the counter-attack, you need skilled players, you need fast players, you need players who can walk very quickly with their feet, and guys who can really walk away on the breakaway. And if the ball has been given to Richie and Rondon, man, there's very little you can do. So obviously Chelsea, this is the philosophy. The philosophy is about this keeping the ball on the ground, this pass and move, this one touch, and this fluid movement. It isn't tic-tac-toe. Tic-tac-toe is almost the passing for the sake of passing. This is passing with intent. And the key thing is it's about passing with intent. Because again, when you look at this, people will look back and say Chelsea dominated the game. They controlled the game. There was only one team in it. And you can say, yes, they did. But even saying that they controlled the game can be misleading. Because 100% you need the ball to score goals. I get that. That is very, very true. And I am a big fan of keeping the ball on the ground. I've never been a fan of long ball going nowhere. So when you just see how Chelsea moved the ball around, Jorginho's rolling it, Kante's rolling it, and how nobody's standing still. Nobody's standing still. Everybody is moving. Nobody is static, and there is a semblance. There's a nice interchanging semblance into what they're doing. But the issue arises when you have so much control of the ball. The team you're playing with is playing very deep. They're not pressing you high up. They're not pressing you at the half end. They're only pressing you down in the final third. And they're just forming a bloody wall right in front of their keeper. You will tend to sort of lose track as to what you're trying to do in the game. Because we're just keeping the ball so much. We're enjoying ourselves and how we're passing with the ball, how we're controlling the ball. We don't have to do any kind of defend. We don't have to do that kind of running. We're not really in any danger. You will just lose track as to what you're trying to do. And what you're trying to do is score a goal. What you're trying to do is create chances, create opportunities that can hopefully lead to you putting the ball in the net. And there were instances where for Chelsea, there are too many guys either a few yards away with the guy with the ball or to the left of the guy, rather than having more guys come into the box, because that's all different. And for Rafa Benitez, with the players that he has, for me, that is the right tactic to make. Well, the ABC of playing against a team who know how to keep the ball very well and are a passing team is you sit deep. You don't press them, especially when you're not as good as them. You sit deep, and you force them to break you down. And I think Chelsea fell into the trap. Chelsea fell into that trap because what you now do to offset that is you've got to take shots. You've got to be more direct. You've got to play balls into the box early. You've got to commit more men into the box. You've got to try and pass the ball a lot quicker. But you have to try and be a bit more direct. Rather than playing the 2-yard, 3-yard pass, play the 50-yard pass, play the 60-yard pass. And you just see how important Hazard is. And because someone tweeted me and said, oh, so what else? Alluding to the fact, okay, what has Hazard done? Okay, why is Hazard this great superb player then? And when you say that and you look at that game, then it's like maybe we view football differently, because when you look at what Hazard does, he he is literally the key guy for Chelsea in this system, because the players are like, the attacking players are like, because you have defensive players and attacking players. The attacking players are those players that try the riskier move, the much more difficult move. If you pass the ball square, or you just pass the ball out into the wing, or just spread it out wide, or you just switch play, okay, fair enough. You've kept the ball, you've done the right decision. But what a guy like Hazard does is he keeps hold of the ball. He tries to make a ground with the ball, and he's trying to make the more incisive pass. So he's cutting in, and he's trying to draw a man. He's making that pass that is very difficult, because it's a very small window, because you have many opposing Newcastle players there, but he's trying to move inside with the out of his foot, cutting in, and as he's cutting into that very tight pass, he's looking to get the ball back. And those difficult passes that are always forward, that are in the middle of the pitch, that are difficult because you're finding a man in a much more dangerous advanced position, that is how you begin to try and chip away against a very tough defensive team. And the thing about it is that more players for Chelsea have to do that, because you saw Kante trying to do that as well. But I just think with people like Pedro and Morata, and maybe even Alonso, I don't think they get the quick incisiveness of what Kante and what Kante and Hazard are doing. And like, look, even for Kante as well, like, you have to just marvel as to just how this guy's powers, because we already know what this guy does to defensively. We already know how disciplined he is in midfield. But now you're seeing Sarri give him much more of a responsibility. And even in this system that they're playing, Kante is making those sexier passes, the more interesting passes, the more dynamic passes, the passes that you don't really expect, the much more difficult passes, the through balls, trying to find the man playing the more interesting one. Because in this system, it's about, obviously, it's about probing. You can't always make the risky pass, but you have to always try and see where the risky pass is, because you're probing. What's the risky pass to play? But I just think that for Chelsea, you've got to take more shots. You have to take more shots. Like when Rudiger took that shot that struck the bar, I was like, at last, somebody has taken a flipping down shot. I think when you look at the goals, because this is where I'm going to bring in a break. So for the first goal, was it a foul? See, now, if I'm a referee, I don't give that. Because if I'm a referee, I'm only giving a penalty that is a full, clear penalty. Because penalty is you're pretty much 90% giving a goal to the other team. So it has to be 100% fully sure that it's a penalty. It can't be 50-50. It can't be 60-40. It can't be 70-30. It's got to be 100%. This is a definite penalty. And for me, I wouldn't give it, but I understand why it's given, because you have to have a consistency. He won the ball first. 100% he won the ball first. But when you have that follow-through, and that follow-through affects the player in possession, standing up, perhaps making something of use with the ball, you've got to give it as a foul. So at the end of the day, it's just unlucky that he did win. It was a good challenge. He won the challenge, but the follow-through was what let him down. And again, boom, Hazard got that goal in. And let's talk about the break. Now, you see that with Yedlin on Giroud, that's a foul. It is a foul. A guy elbowing a guy in the face is a foul. And if VAR showed it, it would have been pulled back for a foul. But the issue arises here where for Giroud, if you were really fouled, you got to stay down. Now, when you now jump up and you now be like, yo, I was fouled and everything, then you don't make a strong case. At the end of the day, it is a foul. Whether he simulates it or whether he fakes it, it is still a foul. But people won't sympathize with you, or people will not empathize with you if you jump up and you're like, come on, how come I was not given a foul? Because then again, people are like, aha, you were just simulating. I mean, you weren't even really hot, and maybe he didn't even make that strong a connection if you can get up like that. But if you were fully down, you actually were hot and you actually required treatment, and so, okay, boom, maybe it was real. Because the issue is that, which is what I'll discuss with Sarah and UFF, if it wasn't really that hot and it wasn't really that much of a hit to take you down, you stand up and you double team on Yedlin, and that cross probably doesn't come in. Or if it comes in, it's probably blocked, or it's not even a good cross. But the cross came in. and Joselu with a great, great header in through. How many times must I say that David Luiz is not a defender? How many times must it be said that this man is not a central defender? Because I remember what your boy De Boer said, and he said that the best defenders read the game. The best defenders don't need to run 10 yards; they only run 2 yards. And why do they run 2 yards? Because they're 2 steps ahead. So if David Luiz was a proper defender, you're 2 steps ahead. You're reading the game. You're reading what has happened to Giroud. You're reading Yedlin with the ball. And before that ball comes in, you know what's behind you. You know what's ahead of you. You know what's all around you. And you position yourself where you will be in a strong position to make a defensive header away. But the ball comes in. He's in a poor position. He has no idea where Joselu is. And he literally ducks like this. And Joselu has a nice free header to put it into the top corner. And that is horrendous, disgraceful defending. And the thing with David is that he's a very good football player. A very, very, very good football player. He's not a good defender. Christensen is a good defender. Rudiger is a good defender. Azpilicueta is an excellent defender. Alonso is a brick of a defender. David Luiz is a brick of a defender. And I think as David Luiz is still a defender for Chelsea, I just do not see Chelsea really doing much with him. So, and I think, as well, when you look at Morata, he didn't have a bad game. But Morata is not a lone striker. Morata played with Benzema with Real Madrid. Morata played with Tevez at Juventus. Morata in Spain, okay, fair enough, they play with a lone striker, but it's not really a lone striker because it's a very heavily pass-orientated team. So maybe in that sense, because what Spain do is similar to what Chelsea do, where it's a very pass-orientated team, maybe Morata that is how he will benefit. But I still feel like he's a guy that is still very low on confidence. And I still don't see him, because again, how many shots on target did Morata get in this game? No matter how much of an attacking threat was he in this game? So, with him as the main striker and David Luiz as the main central defender, I'm not sure whether Chelsea can do anything to win the title this season. But I think overall, and obviously in the end, Chelsea, they got the goal. Alonso came in and it was unlucky, it was an own goal. So I think for Newcastle, I do think that, did they do enough to get a draw? I'm not sure. I do feel that even if Chelsea did not have that many shots on target or that many chances created, I think they had too much control of the game. They had too much control of the game possession-wise. Even if I'm not a big fan of possession, they had too much control of the game possession-wise that it would be egregious if they walked away and they didn't actually get to the win. Although, if they didn't get the win, they only have themselves to blame. Because again, I just think for Chelsea in this system, you've got to take much more shots. And I think that is where I think Giroud is a better option than Morata, because I think for Giroud, he makes other players better. Morata doesn't. Morata is a guy who's desperate to get his G's. Giroud is not desperate to get his G's. Giroud is like, you know what? Yeah, I can get my G's if I want to, but if you're going to hold the ball up and play in Hazard, play in Willian, keep it and play in Barkley, play in Kovacic and all these guys, I think that we can really ride through. But I just think that, even speaking of Kovacic now, I think people criticize me because I didn't preach about Kovacic in the game he played his debut. But I think he now played a lot more in this game, and I can now see how quality he is now right now. And I think his understanding of this system of 1, 2, 3 touches, pass and move, always move around, it never stand still. He fits in like a glove fit. I think his movements in with him and Hazard and so forth is very good. And I think that Sarri should even employ Kovacic that be much more advanced. You may not be as skilled as Hazard, but you can definitely bring the ball up and be in more attacking areas as you can, because Kovacic has excellent ball control and he is right. He's two-footed. He generally is two-footed. So it's a process. And the key thing that even despite that this is a process and this is still a working process that will take at least a year to walk through, it is still 3 wins out of 3. So that is still very positive. It is still 3 wins out of 3. And it is very important to have that winning mentality. And I just think that, you're seeing how important Hazard is in the system. But I must implore Chelsea that you have to have a variation. Sometimes play the route one long. Play the cross into the box. Because again, not by long ball, but in the last third, move your head up. Let 2 or 3 guys make one guy making a run on the flank, one guy in the middle, play the ball over the top. Play the ball over the top, or carry the ball even further. Try and create spaces in different ways rather than looking for that pass and creation. Variation. But yeah, look, man, for Newcastle, I fear for Newcastle because I do feel that there is something toxic happening around this club. And I think all roads lead back round to Mike Ashley. You're seeing the captain who started because he didn't want to play at the right side of defense. You're seeing a team who, obviously, with Kennedy being banned, and where you know that Mike Ashley has the money and he's not investing in this team. And Benitez is doing so much to try and keep this team afloat and this club afloat that it would be egregious if they do have a nasty season, the losses start to come, and they're unable to really offset what is a sinking ship. So I just think, for Newcastle, it is still earlier on in the season, and I think Benitez is too good a coach. He's too organized and too meticulous not to find a way, despite all the stuff that's stacked against him, to find a way of getting the win based on the resources he has to deal with. I just think that Newcastle fans just keep the faith in one of the most experienced, most professional managers out there. And as for Chelsea, man, look, man, it's looking good. It is definitely looking good. But I do think that Christensen needs to partner Rudiger in that defense. I think Alonso needs to be better defensively. I think, Kante, Jorginho. I think the Kante, Jorginho, and Kovacic are forming a very, very nice, formidable 3-man midfield in there. I think Barkley can learn a lot from what is happening here technically that can bring into the England team. And you're just seeing how important Hazard is. And I think Hazard, he needs a partner. He needs somebody that is playing the way that he's playing. And I think there really needs to be a lot of creative inventiveness in this system. Yes, it's nice to keep hold of the ball and move the ball around, but move it with intent. Try and, vary. If you have a variation of the short passes with direct play, with taking a few shots, with a few through balls and a few 1-2s in the right situations, Chelsea will beat any team. They'll beat any team. If they just find that balance of the short pass, the direct pass, the ball over the top, the chip, the 1-2, and the shooting, they find that variation. Do it in the right way, but still keeping this nice ideology of nobody stands still. It's 1-2 quick passes and it's on the ground. Chelsea can do some serious things this season. So keep on moving on, pick up on moving on. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Think about pledging and become a Harpo Football Hut patron. Pledge an amount each month and gain access to exclusive videos from your boy, the Football Hut, for more analysis. Peace.